Hi everyone, it's Gaylin, design team member with Unity Stamp Company. Today I have a big floral card that I'm going to use watercolor with. It is really pretty stamp by Unity, and it is called Unusual Day Poppy. And it has a sentiment from the Better with Age Unity Kit of the Month. So this is stamped with, I used Ranger Archival ink, or you can use Gina K Designs amalgam ink for watercolor, and I used Canson watercolor paper. So these inks work with watercolor just perfectly, and I alternate between using either one of those with my watercolor. Now I use Altenew half pans for watercolor, and I'm using their large palette mat. I like the palette mat just for blending when I want to blend, and also I can watercolor right on that and not make a mess of my craft mat. So for this big flower, there's a lot of different watercolor steps I use, and I first go in with just water on the sections I want to add color to, and then I dab the lightest pink first and blend that around to that flower petals that I want light. So I just want that for the background. Now I'm going to come in with just a darker pink. I think I have 3 pink shades on this palette mat. One is more of a purple, the darkest shade. And then I come in with that second color and just dab it more from the center out. I want some areas darker and some areas lighter. And to do that, I just play with the petals and I try to figure where shade might be, or a way to separate the different petals to make them stand out a little bit more. So I just take my time and add layers a little bit darker each time until I get the hue that I want for these pinks and purple shades. So I try to heat set in between each of the layers, because otherwise the colors will blend maybe where you won't want them to blend, and other times I allow them to blend. So if I want to make a darker shade lighter, I allow it to blend in with the other colors, and sometimes I just want to start fresh with the darker and I make sure it's dry and start in with a darker shade and then blend that out. I don't really have one way of doing it. I just kind of do it the way I like the colors to end up. And I keep going until I try to get a look that I want. And it's never the same twice with watercolor. It's not meant to be perfect. It's just meant to be a loose way of watercoloring. Now, when you heat set with watercolor, I like to heat set the front and the back, and then the front again, just to make sure the paper isn't too wrinkled or warped. So I'm adding different layers of greens, and then I'll come in with some a black shade towards the middle of this big poppy flower. I originally thought I would color this red, but I decided to make it pink. I know there are pink poppies out there. Now once this is dry, once the flower is dry, I want to add some splatters. So I use a little mixing tray and I use Liquitex acrylic paint, and just a dab of that. I use just a dab of it. I use Liquitex Basics. Then I add water to it with a mini mister, and I use a narrow paintbrush, and I just practice my dabbing to just dab onto the paintbrush itself to the side to make sure the splatters are the size I want. And then I just very lightly tap the paintbrush over the flower areas that I want splatter. And there you go. It's really sweet. I like that. Sometimes I do it in black. I like to use black or white. If I have a color of acrylic paint that matches the coloring I used, I'll use the color. But most likely it's going to be white or black, the way I usually do the card making. Now for the sentiment, I just stamped on vellum and trimmed it, and it was all layered very loosely. I hope you like this. Thanks for watching. Take a moment to subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.